Yeah, so welcome to tonight's tapping session and other techniques session as well that I've put together to support uh, everyone through the current situation that we've all got going on to a greater or lesser degree. So we're in something called lockdown over here in Spain, as many countries seem to be now, with limited availability to go out. And there's lots of different thoughts, feelings, and things going on for people at the moment. So I thought it would be good to create this session where we can learn some tools and techniques, tapping and otherwise, just to support with being able to process emotions or any stress that's coming up for us around whatever issues, really. So so welcome. I'm just going to go through the details of what we're going to cover in this session. There's going to be a bit of a slide part to begin with, and then we'll be going on, and it will just become more of an open session with tapping and some borrowing benefits work as well, which I'll explain more about what that is in a bit. Now, if you've just joined, if you're just coming on board now, you might notice that everyone's muted, and that's the case for now because there's quite a lot of people signed up for this session, and if we hear lots of background noise, it can get confusing. So we will people will have the opportunity to unmute later on when we come to tapping if they want to take part in that way, which there's no obligation to. And also there's also a chat function on here. You can ask me questions at any time or give me feedback written at any time. There might be some questions that I ask, and for some written answers, which you can do just by clicking on the chat function, basically. So so it's going to be as little theory as possible. This is going to be very much an active techniques workshop. You should also, and we've got lots of different levels here. There's people who are experienced tapping practitioners. There's people who've never done any form of EFT or tapping before, as far as I know. So we're going to be covering things at a simple level, with things that everyone can use to support themselves. We're going to with things like breathing techniques, tapping techniques, combining tapping and breathing techniques, and so on. Just really lots of useful practical stuff. And you should also have received access to my tapping basics for self-help course, which is a video course. So as well as what you learn tonight, you'll be able to go on there and remind yourself of most of this stuff and be able to use it for yourself, or also to support your family and anyone in your community that could benefit from it. I've managed to unshare my presentation, which is fairly standard on these things. So here we go. So as little theory as possible. It's not going to be a meta health or meta consciousness session about COVID-19, where we could go into detail about what it is and why it's happening. There have been some excellent sessions on that, and if that's something that's really interests you, then I definitely recommend Sam Thorpe's workshop, which was a couple of days ago, and the replay will be coming up will be on YouTube soon, and I will email the details of that out to anyone who's interested as well, where she goes into a lot of the detail about what's actually happening, what the virus is, what it's doing, and the underlying root causes of it. But that's not this workshop. This is, as I said, it's all about practical tools that you can use to balance your emotions maintain your body's self-healing potential, and I'll come on to what I mean about that in a bit. And also, these techniques can enable you to make better decisions coming from a more grounded place, engaging your higher brain rather than the sort of fight, flight, fear sort of aspects of your brain, the amygdala, and the areas that get triggered by anything, any challenging situations and the beliefs behind them that might be causing that. So it's an opportunity with these techniques. We're not necessarily going deep into memories and finding root causes and things like that. It's going to be more about techniques that you can use to keep present, keep yourself grounded and in a good space as you go about your day. And with dealing with this, really a situation that is unprecedented for most of us in our lives. There have been some outbreaks to a smaller degree, but this seems to be the one that is certainly the biggest, and the biggest response in terms of what's being carried out on a country by country basis as well. So there's a lot of unprecedented stuff, and these are the aim of what we're going to do tonight is to help to feel centered as much as possible, and when you get off your center, get off balance, to be able to bring yourself into it again. So we're going to be using some breathing techniques. We'll begin with a breathing technique in a bit. We're going to be looking at tapping, EFT, and we'll be looking at ways that you can use that simply to just process emotional charge that's there at the time. And that can open up actually into deeper things as well. We're not necessarily going to go looking for that tonight. It's going to be more about actually, just processing what's there at the time, maybe exploring some beliefs a bit as well. We'll talk about borrowing benefits, which means that whether you are on the call now, or if you watch the recording later on and tap along with this and some of the stuff that we'll be talking about, there's something called borrowing benefits, which means that you can work on your own stuff without actually having to directly focus on it. By tuning into what other people are working on, you can also benefit, and I'll take you through that process in a bit. Depending on the time, we might get a guided positive tapping meditation done at the end, so we'll see how that goes. The aim of it all is to release fight, flight, freeze, and engage the body's healing responses and higher brain function effectively. So and as please remain muted unless you end up taking part in a session. There should be some time to do some one-to-one work within this if people want to do that. It's not essential at all, but if after we've done some of the borrowing benefit stuff, people want to do that, then that is an opportunity as well. And you can send questions at any time via chat, and unless I'm in the middle of a session or anything, I'll be very happy to stop and answer them. Okay, so I need to give you a disclaimer because of course, I'm not there with you, although you are here. Still, you have to take full responsibility for your physical and emotional health during the sessions. The techniques that we're using are experimental, and while they're usually very gentle and some people appear to have experienced excellent results, it's not possible to know in advance how an individual will respond. Tapping techniques may bring old memories and emotional responses to the surface, and this can feel very powerful. Remember that you're not obliged to share details of an event or memory, although you may wish to, and we will be able to work on anything that comes up, whether you share the detail or want to keep it to yourself. So that's an important point, is that if something does come up, you can work on it, even one-to-one with me, and I can just guide you through the process of working on it rather than you having to share. So it's not a case that you have to spill the beans on everything with tapping. That's one of the great things about it. Now, as with all practices, whether complementary or normal medical stroke psychological, results cannot be guaranteed. You're not recommended to ignore any medical advice, and your primary caregiver is always your GP or other medical professional. This session is public and will be recorded. Okay, so with that, I just want to talk a little bit about the healing cycle. And this is just showing that there are two general states of nervous system regulation that we have going on throughout the day. Every day, we all go through both of these parts of the cycle, and we have what's called a stress phase, and this is when what's known as our sympathetic nervous system is engaged. And this is at the most simple level, this is basically means getting up in the morning. You go more into sympathetic nervous system than you do at night, when from about 8 o'clock onwards till about 8 o'clock in the morning, you'd be more in the parasympathetic nervous system, which is when you are, sleeping, resting, and digesting, and things like that. So when the sympathetic nervous system is more active, you are carrying out actions. It's when, if you ever get pushed into stress, and we all need stress. We need a certain amount of stress, or else nothing would ever get done. But there's different kinds of stress, and there's eustress and distress. So there's stress that's positive, and there's stress that is less positive or negative for us. And actually being pushed into stress, if I just get my arrow and see, at the start something happens, so an event or a trigger of some kind happens and causes stress. This can be waking up in the morning, or being just about to wake up in the morning. But on a day, throughout the day, we also go into stress and restoration or regeneration, parasympathetic, between sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system, basically whenever we get triggered by things. And some people actually spend most of their life in this stress phase, something they can be stressed for a very, very long time. And when you're in stress, it can feel, it's not like the stress is the cause of something happening. The cause is actually whatever's happened to cause the stress to occur. And during that time, you might have things like obsessive thinking, anxiety coming up, constant worry, not eating very well, not being able to digest very well. So even if you're eating all the healthy foods and doing lots of exercise, because you're in this stress phase, you might still be creating hormonal responses, such as lots of adrenaline and cortisol. And just one example, people who eat really healthily but can't lose weight, or can't lose body fat, because they've got high cortisol levels all the time. So stress phase, while we need it for a period of time, is something which it's not where we want to stay. We want to be able to access this restoration phase, this parasympathetic time, and certainly when we're sleeping, but when we're resting as well, and also being able to switch into it throughout the day and come out of stress. And hopefully the techniques that I'm going to teach you today will give you some stuff that you can do to support you with that. Now, and I had a comment just there from Victoria that been like that all week, and I think that many people would relate to that, because this is it's completely new ground for most people. It's feeling like there's a lot of uncertainty. It's a stressful time, and so it's not a time when we're going to be in our optimum healing sort of healing functions of our body. And yeah, you might find that you make decisions which aren't as good as they would be if you are in not even in the parasympathetic phase, but you've come back to through the regeneration, through restoration, and into more into equilibrium, more into balance in your life. So so yeah, with that in mind, uh, I just want to say that what actually can happen though, in just being aware that when you come out of stress, uh, your body has had symptoms going on throughout this stress phase, but you don't generally notice most of them. But if you do go into restoration phase, you can actually notice physical symptoms. It's of course you're going to feel tired during this time. It's often the time when people actually go uh, to the doctors because they start feeling unwell. But it's not that this is the bad time. It's actually your body's healing. So most physical symptoms that we get, including things like coughing and things like that, we're generally going to happen in the restoration phase, where our body is releasing whatever has built up for it to handle whatever it was doing in the stress phase. Now, normally with this resolves itself over time. It's possible to get stuck in either the stress phase or the regeneration phase, or be looping between the two of them, and that can lead to all sorts of health situations going on ultimately, where it feels like there's symptoms, it feels like something bad's happening, and while they might be uncomfortable, this is sort of going a bit really into the meta consciousness territory now, of actually how health really works and what symptoms mean. And so, yeah, if for more detail on that, that's something that I could cover. I'm not really going to cover now, but it's because it's an enormous subject which would take the whole webinar. But it's for people who symptoms have meanings. They're not accidental. They're not random. It's whatever symptoms are there are showing what your body is actually healing itself from, and it's then really your only mission is to try and find out what it is that's blocking your body from carrying out the healing that it already knows what to do. So yeah, so with that in mind, any questions on that, let me know. And relating to specific conditions, I do offer people free one-to-one consultations to find out a bit more about that stuff as well, which is more than can go into in this session. Okay, so doodly-dee. So yeah, so the first technique I want to teach you something that you can use, super simple way to just bring yourself into some form of feeling more calm, going into more of a parasympathetic nervous system state. And this is a breathing technique. So it's a simple breath work developed by the HeartMath Institute. And they're interested in and have been studying for many years how the heart actually creates these electromagnetic fields, which are measurable much further than for example, the electromagnetic fields from your brain, and how the heart is the first part of your body, and the heart's energy system is the first thing that actually picks up information from the outside world. So it's like the source. I guess you could call it. It's where your true intuition comes from. It's like your major part of your sensory system. It's not just a muscle which squeezes and releases to send blood around your body. It's got a lot more going on for it. But what you can do with this technique is it actually does something where it brings the electromagnetic waves, and I'm explaining this roughly, but it brings the electromagnetic waves of your heart and your brain into coherence. with each other. And this means that you are more in equilibrium and in your body's in more of a healing state. Now, it can be very, very quick to bring yourself into this state, and you can use this at any time. So even if you're doing anything else, like if you're doing tapping and you find that the emotions that you're experiencing or whatever are becoming overwhelming, you can use this quick coherence technique to just bring yourself back, basically. So what you do with this, I'll go through it all first and then we'll actually do it, is with your hand on your heart, you start breathing in for a count of 6 and out for a count of 6. And it's without a break at each end. So it's like in 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, out 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and on and until, and you can do it for a while until you actually start feeling calmer. And while you're doing it, is that you have your hand over your heart, and your breath, you're imagining that it's actually going into your heart space. So visualizing it going into your heart space and that space expanding. And then as it goes out, you're sending out, and you're both breathing in and sending out whatever positive state that you want to be feeling rather than how you're feeling at the time. So instead of overwhelmed, stressed, anxious, or whatever, you can choose, you can choose calm, peace, love. You can choose more energetic and exciting states if that's what you're aiming for. You're trying to achieve coherence with that state. And then while you're bringing that into your heart, you will be imagining an image that goes with that. So it could be something like a beach, could be a loved one's face, it might be a color, it might be more of a feeling, depending how you represent the world. If you represent the world in more of if you're more feeling than visual person, or even sounds, it could be a song that you're imagining coming into your heart, whatever, taste of a food, who knows, but whatever it is that however you represent the world. Most people generally visual, something like a beach, calm lake, some mountains, a particular place that you love, a person or people that you love, whatever it is. So we'll just go through that now. And I'll just invite you to put your hand on your heart and close your eyes and just settle where you are, and just bring all of your attention to your breathing. And what I'm going to do is just get you to think about what it is that you want to access. No matter how you've been feeling for the past few days or whatever, just whether it's calm, tranquility, love, connection, whatever it is, just start thinking about that and think about an image which actually represents that to you, an image or what that actually feels like in your body. And then in a moment, you're going to start breathing that into your heart and imagining it expanding for the count of 6 and bringing more of that image and that feeling in, and then sending it out when you breathe out. So that heart space contracting and sending out peace or love or calm out into the world. So when you're ready, we'll just begin now. Breathe 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Out 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Out 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Breathing that state in 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and out into the world 3, 4, 5, 6. In 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Out 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And just continuing that rhythm. 3, 4, 5, 6. Out 2, 3, And just continue for a few more of those calm, peaceful, loving breaths into your heart space and out, counting pace. And then when you're ready, in your own time, just come back. Okay, so yeah, it'd be just interesting if you could just type in if you felt anything or how you found that, if you want to. I'll just wait a couple of moments for that. No obligation, but yeah, it'd be good to just hear how that was. If anyone wants to talk about it or has any questions on it, then I'm very happy to unmute anyone who wants to be as well. Just let me know in the chat. Okay, Victoria, exactly. It's the breathing is significant, especially as the virus hits the lungs. Very relaxing, lots of visuals. Yeah, great. Yeah, visual stuff is cool if you're getting that going, and so good stuff. So I think that any breath work that you can do is great at the moment for strengthening the lungs, building the all-round vitality. With that, I really like Soma breath work, and you can access a free course. So if you just make a note of Soma breathwork, it's a really good one where it actually takes you, I think, even deeper into the parasympathetic nervous system. They've got there's a week-long free course that they give, and it's really, really good. You get a lot out of it, and so if you can't find it, then and you want to do it, just drop me a line and I will send it to you. So Irene says after a hard day's work, very relaxing, almost fell asleep. That's the point. So perfect. Yeah, exactly what we want to happen. It's designed to bring you into that more relaxed state. You can use it, as I said, to get more energized as well. You can go into a coherence with excitement or joy or something like that as well. So you can it's a great way to get into a state. So great. Yeah, thanks very much for feedback there. So okay, so now we'll come on to tapping. And I know that I think most people here are already experienced tappers, but for this, hopefully there'll be some people watching this either now or in the replay who are new to tapping as well. I really hope so, because it's a wonderful, useful thing to have at this time. And traditionally, so what tapping is, just so everyone is on the sort of on board with this, you are tapping on points that an acupuncturist would traditionally put a needle in, or an acupressurist would push or whatever. But you're lightly tapping. Now, I'm not tapping my face yet, but traditionally you would be tapping on these points around your face, body, and hand. And as you do it, you focus on generally the issue. So the problem, the stressful situation, an old uncomfortable memory, breaking it down, the beliefs. So whatever it is, whatever's causing you discomfort or difficulty in your life, you tap on while focusing your attention on that, voicing it or thinking intently about it while tuning into the feelings of what's going on. And strange as it seems, sort of contrary to most of the self-help stuff out there, which is all about positive thinking, tapping is the power of negative thinking and also negative feeling, where you really you go to acceptance of the challenging things that you're thinking and feeling. So you could call it a shadow work, really. And then from that point of acceptance, you release the emotional charge, which is what the tapping does, and then you can actually you become freer from it. You no longer holding stuck old emotion or even current emotion from we're going through a mass traumatic event at the moment. Let's face it. So by discharging it, you can then you can be more at peace. You accept it rather than being in denial, and then you can start making better decisions. Now, of course, at the moment, we're not supposed to touch our faces, are we? So you can touch the face points, but you don't have to, because you don't need to actually tap the face points to get benefits from tapping. So I've washed my hands, so I am going to touch the face points. But before I do that, I'll show you the points that you don't need to touch your face for. So there's the collarbone point. So if you see on me, and there's this blue man here who's showing them as well. These points just under your collarbone, you could tap across here. There is under the armpit on either side. Across the wrist, these ones aren't on this diagram. Across the wrist, either side. The top of the thumbnail, so it's that side. All the fingernails. So that's still plenty of, and the side of the hand point. That's still plenty of tapping points to be moving enough energy around your body to be able to benefit from tapping. And in fact, you can just tap the finger points, and you've got 5 major meridians running through your fingers, corresponding with major organs in the body. Plus, you can then also come around and tap the thumb. So yeah, if you don't want to tap your face, you don't have to. And there's traditional EFT. You do tapping rounds where you set up the problem, and then you set up the problem with a setup phrase where you say something along the lines of, even though I have this problem, whatever it is, I accept myself anyway. I accept that this is happening anyway. And so you're kind of putting a reframe on it. But if you're already feeling, if you're feeling stress, if you're feeling anxious, if you're feeling overwhelmed or whatever, you don't need a setup phrase. You can just focus on how you're feeling and go straight into tapping. And how we do that, of course, if you've got any questions, I know I'm going through tapping quite quickly. If we've got any questions, just feel free to ask me at any time. And yeah, no problem at all. But the way that I think is a really powerful and effective way of actually tapping for yourself is to really focus on whatever the problem is, whatever the fear is, whatever the situation is that you've got going on. And then with that, and either, if your eyes closed, it can get very intense, and you can always open your eyes to come out of that. And just notice where you're feeling the problem in your body. So if you think about, let's say it's stress because you're worried that you're not going to be able to earn a living because of what's going on at the moment, something like that. And then you notice where you're feeling that. So in my case, as I said that, I felt it on my shoulders, which, if you think about it, makes sense, because that's like the pressure of the weight of responsibility pushing down. And then, but often people feel things like anxiety. They might feel anxiety in their chest or in their core. Some people feel things in their hands, like anger. So emotions are felt all around the body, and they often correspond, and different people feel different emotions in different places. If you don't really feel stuff, and quite a lot of people do begin this way, because in our society we're very in our heads. A lot of people come at life from a very logical viewpoint, have been almost conditioned in that way, then you can just go with the negative thoughts that come up and you can tap on them, and you might not notice as much of a change, but you might notice your thoughts starting to subtly change, and it's still doing the emotional work in the background. And gradually over time, you start to become more tuned in to actually feeling things. So when I started doing tapping, I didn't really feel anything. Now I really do connect to things very well, and it's quite a gift from tapping to be able to connect more to my emotional body than I could when I was 8 years ago, 9 years ago when I got into this. So we're just going to do a demo round, and what I also think is when you're dealing with quite stressful situations, or there could be a lot of emotion around what's going on, then you you I think rather than doing a quick tapping round, you could just breathe between each point. So you tap, you focus on the feeling, and do a breath between each point. So we'll come onto that a bit more when we do the borrowing benefits in a minute. But before we get there, I just want to do. We'll just do a round. So just focus on. Or just focus on your body, and I just want to invite you to just do all of the tapping points, whichever ones you want to do. I'm going to do the head, I'm going to do the face, but you can just do the fingers, you can just do collarbone, and whatever feels right for you. And just focusing on whatever's there, eyes open or eyes shut, and just tap for a bit. Take a deep breath. Next point. Next point. We won't do all the points like this because it could go on for some time, but deep breath. Under the eye. And generally, I'm breathing in through my nose and out through my mouth, which I forgot to say. But and I find that tapping and just breathing, even if it's non-specific, even if you have to begin very generally, just to bring yourself to a sort of calmer place, I find that very calming. So just continue if you want to do that a bit longer, maybe just doing the fingers. Yeah, and you're releasing, just coming into more of a calm space. So yeah, did anyone find that was calming, or any questions on that? Make sense? Okay. Right, so what we'll do now is we'll actually look at starting to tap on some specific things. And we're going to use borrowing benefits, which means that you, first of all, while tapping, and you can just be tapping your fingers or whatever, just focus on just choose what it is, whatever your issue is, whatever reason you decided to come to this call tonight. Just tapping on just whatever it is. So whether it is fear about the virus itself, worry about some older relatives or friends that you have and that they might be in danger, stress about not being able to, if you're self-employed and worried about how you're going to make ends meet, or if your job's under threat or whatever, or yeah, or if you're worried about the about how long this lockdown's going to go on for and your freedom being taken away and any of the implications around that, just whatever it is, or anything else, anything you want to tap on, just general anxiety, anxious feelings, just identify that global issue and just what is the theme or problem that you want to explore. And just as you're tapping your fingers or points or whatever, just write down whatever that issue is, whatever you could put it in a single sentence. Stress, yeah, stress and worry about my family or whatever it is. And then give what you can do is then on a scale of 0 to 10, 10 being really, really terrible, like the most stressful or worrying or angering or saddening thing in the world. 0 being nothing really, it's not even there. So obviously, if you're tapping on it, you're probably going to have something that is there. Then just give it a score out of 10. Now, normally, I ask people to do something a bit lighter for one of these sessions, so something up to 5. But I'm aware it is a difficult time at the moment, and so perhaps these are going to be some quite heightened numbers. I don't know. So just write down whatever it is, give it a score out of 10, and then just start tapping on that and just tune into the feelings when you think about that thing. So I want you to think about whatever this thing is, just think about the location of the emotion in your body, in your brain, in your head. It might be outside of you somewhere, whatever. We all experience things differently. So just connect wherever you are feeling it or experiencing it in your body. Generally, I say body, but it could be in your energy field, it could be in your head. And then, what do you feel? Just explore the location, the size, the color, the texture, and anything else about that feeling. And initially, what I'd like to do is if people are willing to share, whoever's willing to share something, if they could just put, as we're tapping, just start typing into the comments box the issue, the thing that you've come with or that you want to explore here, whether fear of the virus, fear of the loss of freedom, whatever it is, just type some of those things in. Again, you can totally keep it to yourself. If you don't want to share here, that's absolutely fine. But if we have a few of them, then it will give us something beneficial that everyone can start tapping along with. And then if you want to as well, when you do that, you can give me just the feelings and the location in the body, the color, texture, anything else, anything that you're feeling. So even if we have a few of those, that would be great. Okay, so I'm just going to write a few of these down and I'll do a few tapping rounds based on this. So horrible, prickly knot, like the virus, in my stomach, tap for family. Notice how that feels. Chest feeling really heavy. Grey cloud in chest. Feeling overwhelmed. tight in the back of head. Okay, fear of pneumonia. Nearly died of it. Heavy feeling of dread. Big decisions. Where to live. Choking feeling. So there's a lot going on here, right? So thanks. That's plenty there that we can now start doing some borrowing benefits with. I'll do some tapping rounds, and everyone just taps along. And okay, a dryness at the back of the throat, sickening feeling I might be infected. And what I'd like you to all do is, everyone, whether you've written something or not, just with whatever issue you've got written down, just give it a score out of 10. And we're going to all tap along now. So much yawning going on. Okay, so yawning, that can be a sign of clearing. So if that's happening, that could be the tapping actually starting to release some energy, Victoria. So yeah. That's normally, for me, that's normally a good sign. And I'm just going to include my heavy shoulders in here as well. I might as well get some benefit out of this as well. Heavy shoulders and fear of not being able to support the family. Okay, right. So I'm going to just do some tapping rounds now based on that. So just one moment. Okay, I will do, and yeah, we'll do a few rounds on this. So have your number there, but then I want you to just put your piece of paper to the side and just focus on the words that I say, and you can say them along to yourself as well. And I'll do classic EFT for this one. So we'll do some setup phrases based on all of this, and we just say it all, or you can just focus on how you feel as we say it, and then we'll just see how things go as we tap through this. So okay, so even though I have this horrible prickly knot like the virus in my stomach, I love and accept myself anyway. And even though there's a grey cloud in my chest and I'm feeling really overwhelmed, here and now I'm okay. And even though I have this fear of pneumonia and nearly died when I was young, I made it, and here and now I'm okay. And even though these overwhelming big decisions are ahead of me, I've made big decisions before, and maybe I can make good decisions again. And even though I have this sickening feeling that I might already be infected, maybe it's a different response. Okay, so now we'll just tap around all of the points and just focus on the feeling that you've got. So I'm going to say some feelings, but focus on your own feelings for it. Yeah, so this heavy shoulders, this heavy feeling in my shoulders, all this responsibility. This grey cloud in my chest, feeling overwhelmed. Heavy feeling of dread. This choking feeling, these big decisions. Just take a deep breath. That would take a deep breath on each one as well. This sickening feeling, this feeling that I might already be infected with the dreaded lurgy. All this heaviness in my shoulders. all these feelings in my body. Maybe like a heavy, prickly knot, like the virus in my stomach. These choking feelings about all these big decisions. This dryness at the back of my throat. All this fear. All this fear of what's happening now and the future I'm seeing and the things that I'm relating it to from my past. I deeply and completely accept that I'm feeling this right now. And maybe I've been trying to push it away. Maybe I've been trying to ignore it. Part of me thinks that this will all be back to normal soon. And part of me is full of what ifs, part of me is full of dread. And I accept it all now, here and now. Whatever I've been resisting, I'm open to my body and my mind accepting what's safe for me to accept right now. What is, what I'm feeling. I'm open to feeling it and not pushing it away and letting it flow through me. I'm open to letting go whatever I can let go of. Because here and now, in this moment, I am safe. Just take a big deep breath again. And yeah, just continuing to tap. I'd just be curious to see if there's any one's had a shift, or even if it might have intensified for some people, which as you tune in, that can happen as well, and nothing to be afraid of that happening. Just if you just let me know in the comments, or if anyone wants to come on and just share anything, then very welcome to. I will open up that people can. Yeah, I think people can unmute themselves if they want to, or if you could say in the comments if you've had anything from that at all, or nothing. If no one's had anything, I'd also like to hear that, so we can continue down a different path. Right, okay. Someone's here. So yeah, so okay, great. So we're starting to see someone not feeling safe to let it go. Yeah, okay, so that's interesting. And shifting to being afraid of passing it on to others rather than not to being sick myself. and a release. And some easing up. And feeling good to acknowledge, and all the good yawning. Okay, great. So what we'll do is we'll do another round in this way, and we're going to, again, I'll do it classic EFT style, which isn't normally how I work. I normally just keep it flowing, but we'll do it this way. And then I might invite a couple of people on to do a bit of one-to-one stuff if anyone wants to. And again, I won't be offended if no one feels like doing that, because but yeah, we'll see. Okay, so yeah, so let's just do another round. So, and this is going to be a bit of a quicker round. I want this time, what I'd like you to do is identify what's still there or what has shifted. So you're not working on the same thing. Just notice as well if your number has changed. So if it was a 9 and it's gone to a 7 or whatever, just notice if that's happened as well. So just whatever's happened. Yeah, so let's just do some tapping, and we'll just say, yeah, by the way, if anyone has now joined recently, just tap along and just yeah, you can, if you can just tap along, you can always catch up with it again in the replay. Right, okay. So okay, great. Yeah, thanks, Helen. We'll be in touch. Okay. Right. So yeah, so we'll just do another round, and we're going to do it on what remains. So it's what remains or what it's shifted to, and I'll say some of the things that people have said, and then we'll just see what happens. So even though I've still got some of this thing, whatever it was, I love and accept myself anyway. Even though this is a big situation and there's a lot to it, and it doesn't feel safe to let it go, that feels dangerous to me. I accept that I'm not feeling safe, and maybe safety is possible. And even though there's still some of this feeling and thought pattern left, I love and accept myself anyway, and I'm open to the possibilities and the choices that I can make. I'm not feeling safe to let it go. I still have some of this going on. Part of me would love to let this go. But part of me is not prepared to give it up that easily. It might be easing up. It might be shifting. It might be resisting. I might be resisting. I might still be anxious. I didn't build this survival mechanism up for all these years just to give it up in one round of tapping. It may not be safe to let this go. I might not have my strategy anymore. Surely I couldn't let it go that quickly. Maybe I can be open to choices. Maybe this will give me space to choose different decisions. Maybe I can still acknowledge that this is serious and feels dangerous, but be calm and be open to making different decisions. Maybe I can choose my response. I'm open to that possibility, even if I'm not. Maybe just a tiny gap in the curtains is enough to let the light in. Maybe I can't feel safe right now, but maybe safety could come. Maybe I can trust myself to let some more of this go, just a little bit. Even in a 1% shift, there are infinite possibilities for different things to happen. Maybe it's just too complex and I'll never get there. Maybe I can acknowledge that. Maybe safety is possible. Maybe it could be better than I thought possible. Just to the karate chop point, I'm open to all possibilities and I accept where I am right now. Okay, right, great. So I wonder how that was, if it helped. You know, I'm also, it is good feedback if things have got more intense as well, and that absolutely is something that can happen. So just be aware of that, and tuning in is a great point of moving towards actually releasing something. So if that's the case, you know, that isn't okay. It doesn't mean it's not working or it's gone wrong or anything like that. It's actually leading you more towards perhaps ultimately clearing the emotional attachment to whatever it is. Okay, so yeah, is there anyone who's got anything, any feedback or reflections? Great, someone has. Okay, yeah, so great. So, yeah, so Karen is saying that it's very nice addressing the different parts and the possibilities just to open a bit of a resistance. Yes, I mean, yeah, because you can't always go straight in for the big thing. You have to, yeah, if you're working with clients, then uh, yeah, Phil, yes, I will absolutely send this out to everyone. You'll get a copy of it, and yeah, totally, you're going to get that. You're welcome. There's going to be a guided meditation bit coming up in a bit, probably. So you could stay and watch, or yeah, or just catch the replay. So yeah, Diana, moving tension from the back of the neck to the front of the head. So that's quite interesting as well, and that might mean many different things. Is it moving? Are you moving to the higher brain, perhaps giving you opportunities for new thinking and different potentials? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to open it up, and people who want to just Liz has got her hand up, so I'm going to press unmute. Hello, Liz. How are you doing?
Hello. I'm okay. I haven't been able to participate. I tried to make comments, but they were always overruled.
Oh, that's odd. Okay, sorry about
Everyone,
that. I didn't mean to particularly blank you more than anyone else. So
it always said there was another participant talking, so I couldn't do it.
right, okay, strange.
And I found that symbol. I'll take it off now. How do I take it off? Don't know.
Yeah. But yeah,
Sorry.
so how's it been? Have you had any? Has it worked?
It's
Have,
it's
are you
reminding me
traumatized?
that
Yeah.
can you hear me?
Yes.
It's reminding me that I've been there before in a different situation, and I managed, even though it's a problem. I've managed before, and I'll come out of it.
Yeah, you might be more resourceful than you're thinking at the moment. So
Yes.
that's
So
great.
it's given me something positive. Thank you.
Excellent. Okay, yeah, thanks. And sorry if for
I have to
whatever
put the
reason.
hand down now.
Yeah, I'll press lower hand for you. I'll do it.
Okay, go
There you
ahead.
go.
Thank you.
So what I'm going to do, yeah, I'm just going to. So people can now continue with borrowing benefits, and what we could do is if there's one or two people who want to go a bit deeper and explore something with with tapping and feel comfortable sharing it here, then we can do that. I also don't mind if people don't want to do that, but yeah, I'll just give it a minute or two. People can either raise a hand or comment, yes, I'm up for it, or whatever. But if not, we can go on to a guided meditation aspect as well. Also want to just know if there's anyone who is actually in any if there's anyone who's in any distress. Now, they could either say now or they can contact me afterwards as well. Just want to let you know that, if it has opened something big up, then feel free to, get in touch with me as well relating to that. So you're not just like feeling left hung out to dry or whatever. Can we do one for grounding? Okay, so yeah, well, we could perhaps we could actually incorporate that. Is okay, yeah, cool. Irene, see you soon. Feels all these emotions. It's hard to ground. Yeah. Okay. So, well, I will incorporate that into the guided meditation. In that case, I think that will be perfect. So, should we go ahead and do that? Yep. All right. I will. So I just want to know before I do this: is there anyone who's feeling and who's feeling sort of challenged or stuck in anything, or did everyone start feeling a little bit more like something's flowed and shifted? Because if you're feeling all these emotions, then then yeah, that's good. At least it means something's shifted and you open things up, and you can continue tapping on this. And of course, everyone. I know most of you here are tappers anyway, but you've also now got the tapping self-help course, which can help you to go deeper into some of this stuff. So, okay, right. So what I'd like you to do then is I want you to just relax wherever you're sat. And this is going to be a tapping meditation. So what I recommend for this, if you tap, it will make it more intense. That's what I'm going to say. So just be aware of that. You can either just enjoy this as a guided meditation, or you can tap your fingers just in this way. And you can even slow it right down. So really slow. And you can just sit where you are, or if you even lie down, whatever it is, and just start tapping in your own relaxed pace. And when you're ready, I'll just invite you to, just start breathing in your own pace. As you gently tap, and maybe perhaps syncing the slow tapping with your breathing. And as you breathe in through your nose, not in line with how I'm speaking, just in your own pace, but just notice that your in-breaths feel good in your nose, and as they flow down into your body. And then as you breathe out, how good that feels, just to focus your attention on your breath. And as you're breathing in, whenever that is, just let those breaths in go deeper into your body. Just start finding and filling the spaces in your body. So taking that breath everywhere into your body, perhaps places that have been unobserved. taking that breath into all the spaces in your body and then breathing out. Noticing how that feels. As those breaths keep coming in and going out, just let the breath go further down and down into your feet, and through your feet. Start heading down into the earth, into the great wisdom of the earth. Every breath taking you further down into whatever is in the earth, whatever you see, feel, believe in the earth. Connecting all the way to the core, your own relaxed pace. Just connecting to that great wisdom, that deep wisdom. Just remembering you're a part of that. You always have been. You've always been part of nature. You are nature. You're not separate from it. And then as those breaths create that connection right down, deep into the core, I also want you to notice as you breathe in that the in-breaths also start going upwards from your spine, like a silver cord going up through the top of your head and out into the universe. And your breath's taking that cord up to the stars and beyond. Every breath connecting outwards. Out to the source, whatever the source is, whatever that means for you, connecting to that ultimate point of oneness. So every breath in, connecting you down into the earth and up to that point of singularity. And every breath out, just bringing you back in and sending that all of that information out into the world. That's right. Just letting that knowledge filter in at a deep subconscious level. Just trusting that to happen. And I invite you now to send your breath forwards in time to a future version of you at some point in the future. Wherever all of that wisdom takes you, just see if you can get a sense of a future self. Just notice how they're feeling, how they look. If you can get that, maybe you can, maybe you can't, and that's okay. Just trust your subconscious, whatever feelings are coming up. I want you to just get a sense of this future self in whatever way you can, where they understand things differently. All of the acceptance and peace. Perhaps they're living more in line with who you truly are. Creating more of a life that's truly, richly yours and theirs. And maybe you've connected to them. And I don't know. I don't need to know. But just whatever you're seeing or feeling, just see if there's anything that you can learn from them. If you connect to them, just see if you can get a physical or energetic or words, any sense of anything from them. Whatever it is, a transmission of energy, something they might say, something they might show you, just how they feel. And noticing how that feels. I just invite you to bring that into your body now. And just bring that back to where you are now. And thank them. Thank your future self for that. And just let whatever that information is just flow through all of your cells. And if it has a color or a feeling, just start beaming that all around you, down into the earth, into your energy field, out to the source of all things, or whatever you're seeing and feeling. Just continuing to breathe, and just as you breathe, just pulsing that out, whatever it is. I just invite you to stay with that for as long as you wish. When you're ready, when that feels complete in your own time, just start noticing your tapping again. Maybe wiggle your toes. bring yourself back. Slowly and relaxedly in your own pace. Maybe you wanted to stay there. And then, yeah, if anyone, as you come back, if anyone's got any comments, you can either let me know how you're feeling, if everyone's okay, so if there's anyone who's feeling any discomfort or anything that they also want to let me know about, that's also absolutely fine. Or if anyone wants to let me know any good stuff that happened, or how they're feeling, even that would also be great as well. Okay, right. So Lema's going to sleep well tonight, so that's good to know. Yeah. Then that, and that's, if the purpose of this was to help people to get into that parasympathetic, calm, grounded, healing state, then I think that's what we set out to achieve, really. Yeah. So hopefully no one's got to go off to work or anything. No one's going anywhere at the moment, are they? So yeah. So okay, yeah. So any more comments? If anyone has anything they'd like to say, I think that will be the workshop for tonight. And you're very welcome to contact me. If there's something you didn't want to share in public here, but you've got any questions or whatever, then very happy to answer them, of course. No problem at all. And just want to say that, if anyone is looking for any one-to-one help with any health stuff or anything that's going on around all of this, in whatever way, then I am open to free chats, basically. So you can get in touch with me to book a short chat, and we can just see if there's something that could support you with a way forwards. So I just want to thank everyone for coming along. I'm going to unmute everybody, and we could just do a goodbye. And so you're all unmuted. So
Bye.
Thanks all for coming. And the replay is going to go out, so if you came halfway through or whatever, then that's going to be for you and everyone. There's 60 or so people who signed up, so it's going to go out probably in the next couple of days. So lots of love. Just get in touch if you've got any questions, and bye for now.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks,
Sam.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.